Law Call.
And welcome back, everybody. How far should employers go to verify the citizenship and the employment eligibility of their workers? Personal injury attorney Alan Ritchie explains in tonight's legal brief.
One of the most talked about aspects of the ongoing immigration debate is the responsibility of employers to screen out illegal workers. What steps is a business owner supposed to take during the hiring process? The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1990 requires employers to ask employees to present certain original documents to establish their identity and employment eligibility within 3 business days of their date of employment, and to verify on INS Form I-9 that they are eligible to be employed in the U.S. Employers are responsible for examining the original documents. Asking for more documents than is reasonable puts an employer at risk for accusations of discrimination. However, there are many employers who ask for little or even no documentation and know full well that they may be hiring illegal workers. That's your legal brief for tonight. I'm personal injury attorney Alan Ritchie. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Alan. Tonight we're talking about bankruptcy. If you have a question about that, give us a call at 1-877-NBC-15 for you. We're going to go ahead and take our next caller. It's Esther calling from Summerdale. Hey, Esther, what's your question?
Well, I've been listening to your program about ways to prevent having your house taken away from you by mortgages and all that. Mm-hmm. And I was just wondering if some of those solutions might also apply to an automobile.
Okay, that's a good question. What do you think?
Esther, absolutely. And generally, Chapter 13 stops repossessions. I mean, that's the most important thing, and they'll tell you can't file bankruptcy on your cars, or laws have changed about about including your cars in bankruptcy, and that's just not true. So if you are behind, and generally you have to be behind 60 days before they actually start looking for the car. It's important to get inside and talk to come in and talk to a bankruptcy attorney.
At what point? How much debt is it? At what point do you determine, okay, now I need to file bankruptcy? Because it's not something you want to do if you can avoid it, right? Right, and it just really depends on the situation. If there's a garnishment in place and they're not, they're paying their bills each month, they're not floating each month, they may have $10,000. Mm-hmm. Generally, if we want at least 15, 20, at least more than that to put someone in bankruptcy. Most of the time, if it's less than that, we recommend credit counseling to them. And I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Jimmy, we keep hearing about the laws changed. Right. Now, if you filed for bankruptcy prior to the changing laws, I would assume that you're grandfathered in and the new laws don't apply to you, or do they apply? You
are grandfathered in.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, like I said, the changes took place in October of '05.
Okay.
All right. Next caller is Azalane calling from Mobile. Hey, Azalane, what's your question?
Hi.
Hi.
My question is, like, if you have already filed for bankruptcy, mm-hmm. and you have a pending disability case, would that affect your bankruptcy?
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
Yeah, Azalene, it shouldn't. Most of the time, if you're applying for disability and there's a back payment or something like that, most of the time that's exempt. So make sure your attorney knows that.
All right, we're going to take our next caller. It's Joyce from Monroeville calling next. Hey, Joyce.
Hi.
What's your question?
Okay, we've recently filed bankruptcy last year, and we have a mortgage. When we did our mortgage, it was a 15-year mortgage, but mm-hmm. every 5 years they redo our interest rate. Right. All right, our bankruptcy still got a little over 4 years to go, and our mortgage is going to come up in 3 years. Do they automatically have to redo our interest, or will we have to go to court, or what, since we are under bankruptcy?
You do, and the most important thing is you probably need to refinance that mortgage. If you do need to do that, contact your bankruptcy attorney. You'll have to go to court, get permission from the bankruptcy judge to do that. As long as it benefits you, whether it changes your payment or reduces your mortgage, if it's adjustable rate, you really need to jump on that as quickly as you can, because it's going to keep bothering you.
All right, Keith from Munson, Florida is up next. Hey, Keith, what's your question?
Hey, you there?
Hey. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, Keith.
All right. Hey, yeah, my question is, like, on Chapter 7 bankruptcy, I'm not familiar with all the bankruptcy terms and everything, but, like, if I filed Chapter 7, would I be able to keep my house?
Okay, good question.
Keith, normally, I'm not sure what the exemptions are in Florida, but here in Alabama, your homestead exemption is $5,000 and $10,000 if you're married. As long as the equity is less than that, you should be fine.
All right, Jamie, we keep hearing you throw out these fancy terms as far as exemptions and things of that nature. Mississippi's different than Alabama and Florida.
Right.
What are exemptions, and how does that apply when considering about bankruptcy?
Yeah, exemptions is what we can protect in your bankruptcy state. If your homestead here in Alabama is $5,000, like I said before, and your personal property exemption is $3,000. I'm not sure what it is in Florida, but like in Mississippi, your personal property is $10,000 and your homestead is $75,000. And if you're lucky enough to live in a state such as Texas or Florida, you have unlimited homestead exemptions.
Wow. Really?
So it's just it's the assets we have to look at. We can protect in your bankruptcy case.
Okay, Michelle from West Mobile is up next. What's on your mind, Michelle?
Yes, sir. I have a question. I filed bankruptcy February the 20th, but what my question is February the 1st, I had a vehicle repossessed from me.
Okay.
Okay, so we filed bankruptcy.
Right.
We went to court March the 27th, and that's whenever everything was okayed and cleared. But what I'm asking is, the vehicle that was repossessed, isn't it supposed to be took to auction?
It does.
And I get to know what they sold it for?
And Michelle, you'll actually get a notice from the company that has your loan. Usually it's a 10-day right of redemption notice, and they'll actually send you a notice saying you have 10 days to come in and redeem it. Unfortunately, the car was repoed before you filed bankruptcy. If you had filed bankruptcy before that car, they got your car, we could have stopped that repossession. But yeah, you should get notice.
So
or your attorney would get notice.
What's the point of getting notice? You have an opportunity to try to buy it back or get it back in some fashion?
No, not really. I mean, it's just
know?
once they get the car is gone. Yeah,
okay.
it really is.
Okay.
And it's kind of like in the same way with your home, as far as if your home goes into foreclosure, you're going to get a letter that kind of explains everything in the process of when your house is going to be foreclosed on the courthouse steps. And as long as you file bankruptcy before that process happens on the courthouse steps, you can file bankruptcy. A lot of people think that once you get that letter and it starts, the process starts, that you can't you can't do anything about it. But that's not true. You have up until that house is foreclosed on before it still allows you to file for bankruptcy.
That's absolutely right.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back. We're talking about bankruptcy. Give us a call. If you have any additional questions for our guest, Jamie Norris, you can reach him in his law office at 432-3100. And you can reach Bill Island from Island Ritchie at 666-1212. He's also at erlawfirm.com. Back to the phone lines. Paul from Mobile has a question. Hey, Paul, what's your question?
Hey, Paul.
Yeah, how many months do you have to be delinquent before they foreclose on your house?
How many months?
Yeah.
Paul, it just really depends. Some of your biggest mortgage companies like Countrywide they're dragging right now. If it's a local bank or a local company like American General, something like that, they're much more aggressive. The good news is, with all the news out there about the foreclosure problems, I think the mortgage companies are kind of pulling back a little bit. I know after Hurricane Katrina, we had some moratoriums, so it was they took a lot longer. Some people were 9, 12 months behind on their mortgage before anything happened. So it just really depends. I mean, one mortgage company may be 60 days, and another one won't bother you for a year.
Okay, Kathy up next from Evergreen. Hey, Kathy, what's your question?
Hello.
Hey,
Hi there.
Hi. What my question is, I would like to know, I have been told that my husband is disabled, and we have been trying to check in because we're living off what my husband draws on disability.
Right.
And my doctor has told me that I should file for disability, which I have done that. I've just done that. And but they have told us that if we file 13, we cannot save our home or our car. So is that right? I mean, because we didn't want to do straight out unless, you have to.
Right. You're saying that's not right.
That's not right, Kathy. I mean, if you're behind your car or behind your house, 13 is your best option for you. I'm not sure who's telling you this, but you really need to contact a bankruptcy attorney and understand your rights and understand the differences in the two chapters of
Because that's
bankruptcy.
exactly what 13 is for, right?
Absolutely.
In order to save your home and your car and your possessions? Okay.
Yeah.
Cassandra from Mobile is up next. Hey, Cassandra. You there, Cassandra?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
I wanted to know if you have your house and you have federal student loans, because they've made changes in being able to consolidate federal student loans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get behind on my mortgage. My mortgage I'm going to pay if I don't get anything else paid.
Right.
But the student loans, can you file bankruptcy and have that filed under bankruptcy?
Student loans.
Tough question. Yes, you can include them in Chapter 13. The laws have changed where we have to treat student loans a little bit differently. It just really depends on the situation, what your income is, whether it's a hardship or not. So you really have to, I advise you go ahead and contact a bankruptcy attorney, and he can explain the differences to you.
And on student loans, isn't that one of the only debts out there that they can actually start garnishing your wages, even without taking you to court and getting a judgment?
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Teresa from Mobile is up next. Hey, Teresa, what's your question?
Hello?
Hey.
Hi, Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
Hi, listen, I just got a quick question.
Okay.
If you've already filed for bankruptcy and you've filed your taxes and you are expecting a return from the federal, will it affect that return coming back to you?
That's a good question.
Wow.
It depends if you file Chapter 7 or Chapter 13. If you file Chapter 7, we have to really be careful with tax refunds this time of the year, and you have to make sure your attorney exempted that tax refund. If it's Chapter 13, you just really need to talk to your bankruptcy attorney about it. I mean, you should be okay on that, but if it's Chapter 7, you just make sure your bankruptcy attorney exempted that as an asset.
All right, Nancy calling from Saraland next. Hey, Nancy, what's your question?
Hey, Nancy.
Are you there, Nancy?
Yes. I was wondering if I'm incarcerated and
make it quick,
and
Nancy.
I have to be rushed to the hospital. Are the police department supposed to pay that, or?
Okay, so she's in jail. She has to be rushed to the hospital. Who foots the bill?
Wow, I don't know.
I don't know if that's quite a bankruptcy question. It's a money issue, but I don't know if that's a bankruptcy question.
I think she's on the hook for it.
I think so, too.
Yeah, absolutely. If she's not, I mean, if she did something that's causing the city government or the county to use their resources, I don't think they're necessarily going to send everybody in jail a bill for their time in trouble. But if anybody has to pay certain things I
thought you got free medical care when you're incarcerated.
Maybe in jail.
That's one of the perks of being incarcerated, that and meals.
And good food, yeah.
That's going to do it for us. Thank you for watching, everybody. Hope to see you back here next Sunday night at 10:30. We were talking about immigration. Have a great night.